the Phillies, you guys broke through and you had the moment. That was great. Then for Washington, and the reason why I remember this, because I remember people got a little bit tight in the organization because of the sensation of the Nats winning a playoff series, right? That was the thing of getting over that hurdle. And the reason why I bring that up is now Baltimore is moving into this time frame where they were really good last year and then got swept out of the playoffs. And now everyone is a little bit on edge. Can you talk about what that is like when you were in Washington and trying to grind through, and like it's on the organization's mind? I mean, how many times you go to the playoffs with Washington?
Yeah, four out of seven, I guess.
4 out of 7. And I remember when I got into the organization, it was win the World Series, and then deep down it was we gotta win one series. Yeah. And there was some heartbreak that you had. How do you deal with those expectations?
Yeah, I mean those were tough series to lose. I will say, looking back, we had great teams, and when I went to Washington, they're coming off 200 loss seasons. The franchise was a mess. The Learners had just taken it over from Major League Baseball. They coming into it with not a great farm system. They did have some good drafts with the Bryce Harpers, the Steven Strasburg, Tony Rendones. So there was expectations there down the road, but we turned that franchise around relatively quickly. We played 500 ball in 2011, and then I think we're the best team in baseball in 2012, and then from 2012 to 2017, my 6 of my 7 years there, I want to say we were the best regular season team organization in, if not all of baseball in the National League. I know it was close with us in LA, but we were a top tier team. The problem we had was we didn't get out of the first rounds, but we played tough series, those 5-game series, and that, if you're not a top tier organization, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just calling like I see it. If you're not a top tier, if you're not a big market team, and those 5-game series, you don't get the best times, game times. So we played a lot of shadow games, but also when you do win the division and you're the best team, you kind of get put on ice waiting for the wild card team, or waiting for your time, your game times and your game days. So it's like 3 or 4 days between the regular season and when you play. So you kind of get put on ice a little bit, and then you're only playing in a 5-game series, which anything can happen. Yeah. I do feel like we had the best team, and if we would have played a 7-game series, anything can happen, obviously. But we were set up pretty good. We still had ammunition going towards those, towards the end of those series. Or if we would have got through it, we would have had ammo going into the next round. So yes, we didn't get through the first round, but to be the best team in the division and win the division like we did, and be the best team in the National League was a good accomplishment, especially coming from where the team started. But ultimately in 2019, they got the job done. They went through the wild card, which is something we never did, and I think their ability to keep that momentum going was ultimately what helped them win the championship. But also the chemistry of the 19 team versus some of the teams I was on was insurmountable. I think they had a lot of things going for them, and so did we. And we had great teams, and we had good chemistry. But like seeing what they had was really next level. Getting back to what you're saying about expectations.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say you got to get there. You got to get to the playoffs. Getting to the playoffs is hard. You play a 162-game season, and just to get to the playoffs is an accomplishment. Yes, ultimate goal is winning a World Series, but you got to get there. Once you get there, now all bets are off. Now anything can happen. But to say that not getting past the first round is a letdown, or you didn't reach your goal, I think is a stretch for me. I think those were all great teams, and we accomplished so much. And as I look at the Baltimore team with what they have, they're young and they're exciting. The fans should relish in the opportunity to even play meaningful games in October, especially after the drought that they've had since going all the way back to the late 90s. Those games are what it's all about. Anything can happen. A 5-game series is a poor representation of playoff baseball, in my opinion. And like where hockey is all 7-game series, I know it gets drawn out for a while. I know we're up against weather with baseball, but in my mind, the 5-game series is a tough one to overcome, especially if you're a team that's playing a team that still has good rhythm. It's been playing those wild card games and coming in hot. So it's a tough thing to overcome, but don't overlook the accomplishments of the regular season and just being in October playing meaningful games. It's that's few and far between.
You know what? And I'm glad I tried to set it up that way so you can say it and not me. Baseball is so damn hard. And I think that that's the part of it. You mentioned, you alluded to it. You can have the best record. And for a lot of those teams, every team's goal is to win the World Series. But sometimes if a team is red hot, a team has all the momentum going their way, truly, you said, you got to get to the playoffs. And then all bets are off. Last year, the Diamondbacks were the team that got red hot, snuck in, go to the World Series. Texas had the up and down moments. 1 game over 500, Jayson, on the road, and then they win 11 straight road games. It's just you got to get there. Winning's hard. Baseball's hard.